Hey book friends, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to a video where we're going to chat through some books that are on my radar for this summer. So I guess you could call it a bit of a priority summer TBR list, something like that. So we just finished our homeschool, you guys. I'm officially on summer break. I talked a lot about that and I shared about some of our fun traditions in the reading vlog I just posted on the new Taylor Adams book. Oh my gosh, go check out that reading vlog. It's so good. But anyway, today's video, we are going to be talking about 6 books. I have them here. I didn't want to make my stack too big because I wanted it to be reasonable, but I do have more time on my hands, so stay tuned and I will share which 6 books I'm talking about. So hi, my name is Angie. Welcome to those of you who are new here and welcome back for everybody else. So like I said, we're talking through some books I really want to read this summer. So this is not necessarily a summer recommendations video. I just made that. I made a video with books that have kind of summer vibes, in my opinion. So I'll link that above if you're looking for recommendations, but these are the books that are on my list. So I'm just going to start with this one. It's The Reading Retreat by Julia Bartz. So this has been going around a lot and I have seen so many people talking about it and I've heard mostly good things. And I have been in a serious thriller mood lately. I mean, if you look at what I've been reading, it's pretty much all been thrillers, and that's okay. Sometimes that's just what I want to read. But this one's about a girl named Alex who wants to be an author, and somehow she gets invited to this all-inclusive, once-in-a-lifetime author retreat where they get to go and be together and work on their books. And then I think they find out that there's actually some sort of competition where they have to start their book from scratch and complete it in that month during the retreat, I believe. And the person who writes the best book gets a huge amount of money, a 7-figure publishing deal. And so I have no idea where it goes. I'm not sure if they start getting murdered. I'm not sure if they get cut off from the outside world, but I don't tend to like to know too much about my thrillers. I feel like I enjoy them more when I don't know too much. So The Writing Retreat is on my list. Okay, friends, I'm going to move around for this video. It just sounds fun and I thought I would. So the next book on my list is the next book in the Robin Hobb universe, The Whole World. So this is the 3rd trilogy. It's called the Tawny Man trilogy, and the first book in that is called Fool's Errand. You guys, this brings it back to Fitz. So the first series, which was the Farseer trilogy, followed Fitz. It followed him from when he was like a 6-year-old boy, dropped off at the castle because he was the bastard son of the king in waiting. And then his father flees to the countryside and he is raised by the stable master, Burrich. And then eventually the king kind of takes an interest in him and makes him the royal assassin. But this one, I have no idea what it's about because I don't want to spoil all that, because that first trilogy was Fitz. The second trilogy was the Ship of Magic trilogy. It was totally different, set in the same world, some crossover characters, but now we're back to the singular focus of Fitz and the Fool, I'm pretty sure, because it's called Fool's Errand, and the Fool is a very important character and a very unique character. So both of those characters I really enjoy. I enjoy the character work of Robin Hobb. She makes me care so much about the character, so much so that I'm like, I can't wait for a whole nother trilogy about this one character named Fitz and what he's going to get into and the challenges. And some people don't like his character perspective, but I really do. So I want to get back into this series. All right, so the next one that I want to pick up this summer, because I just got this for my celebration book for the end of homeschool, which again is in that vlog, and it's called The Ferryman by Justin Cronin. I really don't know anything about this, but it drew me in when I was reading the cover of this book because it gave me kind of The Giver vibes by Lois Lowry, which I loved. That was one of my favorite books as a child. It kind of has that dystopian feel, which I think this book falls into. Honestly, I'm not sure. I've never read by this author. I'm not sure if he's thriller, horror, dystopian, science fiction. I've got nothing, but let me tell you a little bit about the book because it's definitely not my normal, but sometimes it's fun to read something that I don't normally gravitate towards. So this is about this like utopian island where the people who are lucky enough to live there have these monitors embedded into their skin, and then it monitors them, and once I think their health and psychological well-being falls below 10%, they retire themselves. And in doing that, they get on this ferry and they go to what's called the nursery. And their bodies are renewed and their memories are wiped and they're able to re-enter and restart their life. That's the general premise, which is what kind of gave me the Giver vibes. But there's this man, Proctor Bennett, who his job is to be the ferryman. So he takes people on the ferry. But then some things start happening, like his numbers start to go low. Then I think his father is forced on the ferry and he tells him some stuff, and then some things start to go like awry. Something is stirring in this kind of perfect utopian little world. I don't know. I thought that sounded really interesting. And I love that I'm not quite sure what I'm getting into. Sometimes it's really fun to read a book that I'm not really primed for, that I haven't got a ton of excitement from other people, but sounds really interesting to me. And so that's what this book feels like. So I hope I can get to it this summer. All right, welcome to a new location. So another book I hope to get to this summer is another fairly large book, but one I'm so excited about. I've been excited about this book for a while. And it's called The Embroidered Book by Kate Hartfield. So this is a historical fantasy book. And my sister, who I trust to understand my book taste really well, thinks I will love this book. So it's about Marie Antoinette, and I think it's her cousin or her friend. And it's during a time when they grew up together and they were good friends, these two little girls, and there might be like a book of magic or something like that. So there is some fantastical elements into this. And then their lives split and they marry two important men, like the King of France, for instance, and history goes from there, but yet they're still connected. They're connected by friendship and by magic. And it sounds really fun. It sounds like a really fun take on the Marie Antoinette story and all that. And I feel like it's very true to history. So you know, what happens to Marie Antoinette, but it's kind of like, how do they get there and what happens in the interim? Sounds really interesting to me. So I hope I can get to this one this summer as well. All right. And then speaking of my sister, I have a book that we are buddy reading sometime this summer, June, July. We'll work it out. It is called The Witch's Heart by Genevieve Gornichek. I've had this book for a while and I've been really interested in it. I haven't gotten all into like the Greek myth retelling books, but this one sounds really good. So this one has to do with this woman. She's a witch, Angerboda. I'm not quite sure, but it sounds like Odin. I think it's King Odin. Like, are we talking Nordic gods? I think so. Anyway, he is not pleased with her for some reason and he burns her like a witch. And that leaves her injured and powerless. And then she has to flee and go to kind of the farthest remote village sort of idea until she meets a man named Loki, right? Loki's such an interesting character. And somehow they fall in love. Somehow they have all these children, 3 to be precise. And they're happy. And eventually though, it sounds like she gets her powers back, which for her, it was more like see the future, I believe. And what she sees is that she can't stay like isolated. She can't protect her family. There are things that are happening that will happen to them. And she has to kind of either accept that that is fate or stand up and try to change things. I think it sounds really good and I've heard good things. I mean, it was popular, I feel like a couple years ago, but I'm still gonna read it. So The Witch's Heart is another one. All right, guys, last book on my priority TBR for the summer is this one. It's a very summery book. I'm actually definitely going to read this because this is part of my book challenge. In June, we were to read a book about, did I say adventure? And I felt like vacation was adventure, and it's also just very summery. And it's People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. It's a very beloved book here on BookTube, but I have not read any Emily Henry. And so if you are interested in reading this, you can come down to my Discord group and join me. I feel like there might be a couple other people who have not yet read it and will read it with me. But from what I understand this book is about, it's about these two friends who over the course of their lifetime, they'd go on vacations together and then something happened and it has made them estranged from each other. But they decide to go on kind of one final vacation and I believe they try to fix things. So this is a romance book, so I'm hoping for kind of a happily ever after. I don't read a lot of romance and I want it to be happy if I do read it. So that's my thoughts. I'm going to check out this book So those are the 6 books. They're from like all different genres. They have all different feels. And I did that on purpose because I want a good list for just depending on how I feel. But I'm really excited about all of these books, all of them. So let me know down below what is on your list. If you had to make a priority TBR for the summer, maybe you haven't had as much time to read for various reasons, and summertime just is a little bit more open for you as it is for me. So let me know that down below. But otherwise, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. It was fun just kind of hopping from room to room and just making things a little bit more interesting. But if you liked it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you want to. And I'll see you guys next time. All right, bye.